Hey guys, it's Maddie, and today we are super excited to show you guys the next episode of our series Trucking Culture, which will cover all kinds of music, movies, and other media that have made a major impact on the trucking industry. In today's episode number 4, we will be switching things up slightly by talking about the man, the myth, and the legendary icon of the trucking industry, Mr. Jerry Reed. But before we begin, if you've enjoyed our videos this far and you'd like to help us continue to create more content, please consider joining our Patreon community by visiting patreon.com/JacksChromeShow. Those of you who become patrons will be treated to a video VIP pass with exclusive early access to all new episodes such as this one, as well as receive free decals, t-shirts, and truck posters. Interested in becoming part of our Patreon? Please visit the patreon.com/JacksChromeShow link in the description box below. And remember, folks, if your rig don't shine, you don't know Jack. Jerry Reed was an American actor, singer, songwriter, country star, and truck industry icon who appeared in more than a dozen movies, as well as composed and sang countless of his own signature songs. Born in Atlanta, Georgia, to Robert and Cynthia Hubbard on March 20th, 1937, Jerry Reed Hubbard was destined for stardom since he was a small child who would run around strumming his guitar and singing, "I'm gonna be a star. I'm gonna go to Nashville and I'm gonna be a star." Despite a somewhat rough start, following his parents' separation only 4 months after his birth, and the 7 subsequent years spent in foster homes with his sister, Reed was finally reunited with his mother and stepfather in 1944. "I got my first guitar at the age of 7 and never laid it down. Mama taught me G, C, and D. I was off to the races, son." After graduating from O'Keefe High School in Atlanta in 1955 at the age of 18, Jerry was promptly signed by publisher and producer Bill Lowry, who cut Reed's first record, "If the Good Lord's Willing and the Creek Don't Rise." Lowry was largely credited for Reed's earliest recordings at Capitol Records, who showcased him as the new teenage sensation after recording his own rockabilly version of "When I Found You" in 1956. Only 2 years later, in 1958, Reed was officially recognized as a songwriter and was re-signed to a new company called the National Recording Corporation. Things really took off for Reed the next year in 1959 when he married Miss Priscilla Mitchell, who was a member of the folk group The Appalachians, and also hit the Billboard, bubbling under the top 100, also known as the Roar and Cashbox Country Chart, with the single "Soldier's Joy." On April 2nd, 1960, the newlywed couple welcomed their first child, Sedina Ann Hubbard. 1962 saw soaring success for Reed, who debuted 2 new singles called "Goodnight Irene" and "Holy Goalie Guitar," featuring an all-female vocal group known as the Holy Girlies. These singles, in conjunction with Reed's particularly intricate picking technique, helped him score a recording slot at RCA Victor after being recognized by the highly respected Chet Atkins, who later produced Reed's 1965 song, "If I Don't Live Up to It." In July of 1967, Jerry's self-penned song, "Guitar Man," climbed clear to number 53 on the country charts, becoming Reed's best-received single. In fact, the song was soon covered by the iconic Elvis Presley shortly after, who Reed paid tribute to in his next single and first top 20 hit, "Tupelo, Mississippi Flash." Ironically, after recording the new song in Nashville on September 1st, Presley came down to Nashville on September 10th to record and hired Reed to write and play guitar for a few of his famous songs, including "U.S. Mail" and "Big Boss Man." The next year in 1968, Reed started recording a second session with Presley, during which he played guitar on a couple covers for Elvis's film "Stay Away, Joe." Reed also helped Presley record 2 of his own original compositions, including "Talk About the Good Times" and "A Thing Called Love," which was later also re-released by Johnny Cash. The 1970s saw a substantial shift for Reed, who after releasing the huge hit Amos Moses in early 1970, also introduced another daughter into the world, Charlotte Elaine Lottie Hubbard, towards the end of that same year on October 19th. After Amos Moses arrived at number 8 on the US pop charts, Reed teamed up again with Chet Atkins, who together debuted the duet LP, Me and Jerry, which earned the pair the Grammy Award for Best Country Instrumental Performance. The 1970s also brought big opportunities in television for Reed, who became a regular on the Glenn Campbell Good Time Hour. 1971 also saw his biggest hit yet, the chart-topping When You're Hot, You're Hot, which also served as the title track to Reed's first ever solo album, earning Reed Grammy Award recognition for Best Male Country Vocal Performance. After the debut of their first duet, Atkins and Reed came up with another collaboration in 1972 called Me and Chet, which was followed up only 1 year later with Reed's second #1 single, Lord Mr. Ford, written by Dick Feller. Going back to television, Reed also appeared in animated form in a 1972 episode of Scooby-Doo entitled The Phantom of Country Music Hall, where Reed performed the song Pretty Mary Sunlight, played throughout the entirety of the episode as the gang searches for Reed's missing guitar. In the mid-1970s, Reed's recording career began to take a back seat to his acting aspirations, and in 1974, Reed co-starred with close friend Burt Reynolds in the debut film W.W. and the Dixie Dance Kings. Despite continuing to record throughout the decade, Reed's best bet for visibility was as a movie star, almost always in tandem with Burt Reynolds. After the 1976 film Gator, Reed also appeared in the 1978 flick Highballin', as well as the 1979 movie Hot Stuff. Perhaps most notably, Reed co-starred with Reynolds yet again, playing the part of Cletus the Snowman Snow in all 3 Smokey and the Bandit films, starting off in 1977. The launch of the original Smokey movie subsequently landed Reed another #2 spot with the hit soundtrack Eastbound and Down. 2 years later in 1979, Reed released a record comprising of both vocal and instrumental selections, appropriately entitled Half and Half. This record was followed by Jerry Reed Sings Jim Croce tribute tracks in 1980, the same year that Reed would also appear in the TV movie Concrete Cowboys. In 1982, Reed's recording career was revitalized with the chart-topping #1 hit single, She Got the Gold Mine, I Got the Shaft, followed by The Bird, which peaked at #2. Reed had his last chart-topping hit, I'm a Slave, in 1983, the same year he co-starred with Robin Williams in the Michael Ritchie comedy The Survivors. After accepting the invite to open up for Dexy's Midnight Runners on their US tour in 1984, Reed left the tour early to appear on the country music comedy TV show Hee Haw. The unsuccessful launch of the 1986 LP Lookin' at You left Reed to focus fully on touring until around 1992, when he and Chet Atkins reunited yet again for the album Sneakin' Around. In 1988, Reed landed a role in Bat 21 with Gene Hackman, serving not only as the movie's character Colonel George Walker, but also acting as the film's executive producer and screenwriter. Following his first time playing the producer role, Reed relaxed for a bit, playing small roles here and there, before coming back with another banger 10 years later in 1998 with the Adam Sandler film The Waterboy. After starring as Crazy Coach Red earlier that same year, Reed teamed up with Waylon Jennings, Mel Tillis, and Bobby Bare to create the country supergroup called the Old Dogs. Also in 1998, the punk rock band Primus covered Reed's song Amos Moses on their EP titled Rhinoplasty. Primus wouldn't be the first or the last to feature the iconic Jerry Reed song, and in October of 2004, the classic country tune was included on the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas video game soundtrack. Skipping ahead to 2013, when the Grand Theft Auto 5 video game was released, Jerry's song You Took All the Ramblin' Out of Me was also used in this game. Sadly, on September 1st, 2008, Jerry Reed Hubbard passed away in Nashville, Tennessee, of complications from emphysema at the age of 71. After his death, Reed was inducted into the Musicians Hall of Fame and Museum. Reed was also announced as an inductee into the Country Music Hall of Fame on April 5, 2017, and was officially inducted by Bobby Bare on October 24th of that same year. Despite the devastation surrounding his death, Jerry's movies, music, and more remain with us to this day as reminders of the legend he left behind. After all, Jerry said it best. You can have music and it will stand alone by itself, but you can't have a movie without music. Music is the most powerful thing on this earth, and it's very hard to be angry when you're listening to music. I've spent over 60 years bent over a guitar, and to know that I wrote 70 compositions that masters have recorded, that makes me feel so good and full, and proud and thankful to the good Lord. Thank you so much for watching our all-new Trucking Culture series featuring Jerry Reed. Before you leave, make sure you like the video, check out the other videos on our channel, and subscribe. We have finally reached our goal of 25K subscribers, so thank you all so much for your support for the show. Next stop, 50K. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything else you'd like to talk to us about, please be sure to tune into our podcast, The Chrome Corner, Wednesdays at 12 p.m. noon Standard Time, and discuss all things Chrome with our host, Dave Coleman. If you'd like to stay up to date with the new projects we have coming, please follow us at Jack's Chrome Show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Be sure to buy your Big Rig the Best Chrome for your home with some sweet stainless sales on our website at jackschromeshop.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. And remember, folks, if your rig don't shine, you don't know Jack.